What is up, everybody? This is Marshall Lee of DonkeyJawProjects.com, and today we're celebrating. We're celebrating something very serious, something very special, something very amazing, something very awesome, something that has a lot of words to describe it. And that thing is the AAA creators community. It's a pretty cool place if you guys didn't know. It's a Discord channel, and it was birthed off of basically the idea that people, have often come to my channel and said, where can I get connected with some people and get to know other creators so that I think we kind of all as creators kind of hang out in a world where sometimes we feel like we're in like our rooms and we're like kind of alone, and we have to work long hours, and if we do this for work then we don't have anybody around us sometimes and things like that, and it can get lonely, and so then we need some people to talk to who we can kind of relate with and get to know, and who know the struggle that it is to be a comic book creator or an artist in general, a freelance artist. There's so many aspects to all of this kind of thing, and even though we are a comic book creating community, the AAA Discord creators community, we also endeavor to do things that are outside of the comic book realm as well. And so this Discord has been going pretty good. Well, going really good, actually, better than I could even possibly imagine. Years ago, I had been involved with different forums, and I've always thought that was a really cool place to be, and to have a community. And I have also tried to create my own forums and Google, Facebook, or Facebook groups and other kind of groups, and it never really took off. I think I just didn't have enough following at that time. I started a little too early, um, and it was always a little bit discouraging that people wouldn't kind of jump on, because I thought it was a great way to uh, communicate, especially with something with like comics, where we're all in different places, different levels of skill, different places with our comic projects, different levels as far as whether we're going career or hobby or somewhere in between. And I always wanted to kind of facilitate some of that because I thought it was a fun thing that I've experienced in the past with different kinds of interests. And like I said, it never really worked out so well, unfortunately, until I created this Discord. Discords came along, and I saw some people doing it, and I finally did have a little bit of a following through YouTube, which was really cool. And I saw that some of my friends with the 100 Days of Making Comics and other groups were starting to start Discords as well. And I saw that my friend Teresa Del Pilar, who's been on the channel many times, was doing a daily draw chat, or a daily draw prompt, and I thought that was such a cool idea to like get things going in a Discord. And I think at that point I had already created my Discord. Oh, it wasn't daily draw. It was, excuse me, my throat is. I just got done scarfing my face with Chinese food. Um, um, but yeah, so she was doing the daily prompts, just a topic to talk about, usually art related, but doesn't have to be art related. And you know, I thought that was such a great idea to just get people talking and stuff. So I think I already started a Discord or was about to start one, and I immediately, as soon as I could, added that to one of the main things that we do here, and it really helped. I think that was a great idea, and I was happy that it started to take off, and eventually my buddy Fogbreaker, also known as Jason Alexander, the real Jason Alexander. he decided to, well, I allowed him to kind of take it over because I think he expressed an interest. I forget how that all came about. And he just went off, with that, and really kicked butt with that and helped me to do that because I wasn't always great at remembering to do a prompt every day. And then eventually some other people came on to help as well, Shell and my buddy Ronnie and things like that. And so it's been really cool. And then Shell and Ronnie became moderators. I put a call out, to do that, and they became moderators, and I'm so glad that they did because they're awesome at it. And they really help me when I don't happen to see things, which I'm not, I'm on there almost every day. But there's definitely things that I don't see, and it really helps. And for the most part, it's just a really cool community. And by the way, a lot of the people who are involved and who make this Discord awesome, which, I'm telling you, like, you guys got to check it out. I put a link down in the description. If you want to join, because we're doing some awesome things there. But a lot of my fellow Discordians, my fellow AAA creators, are in the chat. So what's up, everybody? Also, other people who, Van Illustration, also known as Clay, he's been in our Discord at times as well. So thank you for contributing, and thank you for watching the videos so often. You rock, man. I can't wait to see more progress on your comic, and everybody else is here. Evan's here. Shell's here. We got Dan, also known as Sideburns, here. He's got his own YouTube channel. A lot of these people have YouTube channels. We got Fabrizio. How you doing? Good evening to you as well. And some of you people, I did put the link to join in the Discord for some of those who are part of the Discord family. So definitely come in and hang out with me. That I was hoping some people would jump in by now, but it takes a while sometimes for people to finally come in. But that being said, it's been a really cool thing. And one thing I want to say is thank you to Evan for bringing this up, because he's the one who kind of said, hey, it's it's the AAA Discord anniversary, and this was I think maybe 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago, something like that. I've been trying to get a video up for this for that long, but I was like, wow, a whole year, and this has become. I almost thought it was longer than a year, because the progress and the things that have happened in this Discord are pretty darn amazing. And here we got somebody here who is a big part of what makes this Discord awesome, joining, and we got Mr. Ronnie, Crimson Owl Comics. How you doing, man?
I'm okay. How's everybody doing?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I just stuffed my face with some food, so I might get a little lethargic here. But other than that, doing pretty good. And I'm really excited, man, because I think that, this whole thing with what this Discord has become is, when I go to the Discord, obviously, yes, I created it. It kind of bounced off of like the fans and stuff, and of the channel, but it's become way more than that. And when I come to the Discord, I'm just going to my community. That's just the place where all my friends are.
Exactly.
What's your experience been like with the Discord, man?
Oh man, it has grown so much. I mean, with it has, man, it has built friendships. I mean, perfect example with me and Fogbreaker Studios. We have our own YouTube show with Comics Della Morte, where we do horror comic reviews every week. And we're doing Young and the Dead, and this coming up issue of issue 4, we're going to have a special guest where Scott Serklin's going to be coming on the show. So
Oh,
that's
that's
awesome.
awesome.
So, and that's going to be great to have him on the show and just talk about, ask him questions and everything. And, that's just a really big step for our show. And, it's just great how you came up with this Discord and people been building friendships, and out of that discord people were able to get together and build shows of their own. And that's pretty much you know what communities need to do is get together, build friendships, and build things off of each other. Kind of
Yeah.
like with comic books, you know with comic book artists, sometimes it's not always one person doing everything. A comic book has to do with a writer, an artist, a inker, and that's what a community is. And uh writing and any type of career or job has to involve with a group of people. So pretty sweet.
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought it to that kind of metaphor of how comics are made, because it totally is that. And in a way, I actually am part of another Discord that is called something about the bullpen or something.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what this is like, the virtual, Marvel bullpen in some ways. And honestly, it maybe in some ways is more real than the actual bullpen, because a
Hmm.
lot of those stories were more just Stan Lee trying to hype up the company and stuff. But it's so true. Like it's such a community, and things. That's one thing is like I'm actually really proud of what this has become, because and I don't take pride in that I did it. It's because the people have created some amazing things, and all I do is just like, people bring up ideas and I just say yes. That's pretty much what I do. I just say yes to
Hmm.
everything. Once in a while, some things can't work out, but for the most part, almost everything has been a yes. And you know, I saw Peter Seckler was doing some like drawing prompts at one
Hmm.
point, and he was just doing that, I think, in the general chat or something like that. And I was like, "Hey, do you want to like, maybe just do a drawing prompt section that's strictly to that?" And he was like, and do it every day. And he was like, "Yeah, totally, I'll do it." And then eventually he's like, "Can I bring my buddy Rocket Ship Evan, as he's known now?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, do it." So they've been going back and forth, and they have challenges. I mean, it'll be anything from like, just a literal like prompt of like, here's 3 words, make something out of it, to like right now they're like, this is a challenge to make a comic book cover. I'm giving you like a scenario of what, a possible comic book cover. And even to the point where he basically did a tutorial to get people to make their own comic within a week, like a mini
Hmm.
comic. And I think the 9 Volt anthology is pretty much birthed off of that to a certain degree. And it's amazing. Like, I'm so proud of what this community, because it's not just a community that sits around and talks, and we're not like getting into politics and doing like, gossip about like comics gate and this and that, and like that's
Yeah,
not
it's
what this
basically
channel
not
is
a
about at
virtual
all. Like
it's
this
not a
channel
virtual
is about
watering
people
hole,
creating things.
Yeah. Like it's a community that actually gets together and gets stuff done, you know.
Absolutely. And like you said, you guys have that show. There's been other shows that have been birthed off of this as well, and
Yeah.
YouTube channels, and people
Hmm.
have made comics, and this is just a great place where, it's not because of my Discord that people have created these things, or because of it that they've created these comics, but it's given, what it does facilitate is that place of community and encouragement,
Hmm.
when it, otherwise we wouldn't have any accountability, and we wouldn't have anybody to talk to. And
Yeah.
it's like, and we can show our progress. A lot of times you might have a lot of progress on things, and you might have done a lot of stuff behind the scenes, but it's not really something that you feel comfortable putting on like Instagram or Facebook or on a YouTube channel. Maybe you worked on thumbnails today. It's not the most exciting thing. Or maybe you did a bunch of sketches in your sketchbook that may end up being a character in your comic.
Hmm.
That might not be something you necessarily want to show the world. You can totally show the world that if you want. People
Hmm.
do that, but you can also come to a place that's more like a little bit more, private. Even though it's public, there's not as many people there. The world
Yeah.
isn't there, and you can share that kind of stuff and get some feedback, and stuff like that. And I mean, to me, I think that's priceless. Like I've been definitely benefited from communities like that in the past myself as well.
Hmm. Exactly. It's
um,
like people that go to drinking draws, they have that connection where it's not big enough, but they have that little interaction where they could get like feedback.
yeah, totally. I mean, it's basically a big drink and draw, except for we're
Yeah,
not always
pretty
drinking.
much. Yeah.
So, although I am, cheers, cheers to to a whole year of the AAA Discord anniversary.
Yeah. But man, yeah, it's been a great year. So much growth has been gone into it. I mean, just I believe I jumped in pretty much at the beginning of the year and just been amazed to see how fast it has grown, not just in person wise, but how much has been added over the years, the months have gone by, just with everything. And like you were saying, just with the anthology, and just see how much like we're in the second one and how much people are jumping into that, and just not just seeing the second book being made, but seeing people's skills progressing and how much they're like getting better at their like writing skills and their drawing skills is just really great to see that.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen a lot of progress, and actually, I'll go back to this comment right here. Shell, is saying that, you know, now she has more than one friend who makes comics.
Yeah.
And I know how that goes, because like in the real world, like how often do you come across somebody who's even into comics unless you're in a comic shop?
Right.
And then next, how often do you come into contact with somebody who makes comics? Not
Hmm.
many. I'm the same way. I've only found a few, and they're not in the Discord, but you know, I would that would be awesome if they were. And but I have a lot of friends online. It's crazy. Like it's so crazy how many friends I have online who create comics, because I lived in a world before the internet was like this.
Oh yeah,
So I
exactly.
remember that world, and it's not, it can be lonely for an artist. I mean, I was just out today with this shirt on, going to get my Chinese food, and I'm like, people are gonna think I'm a fool, like, but I still wore it. But it's like, nobody knows even what that means. They're like, what is an indie comic?
Yeah, but the great thing is so many people are now more accepting,
Yeah.
because when like I'm at work and people are like, "What are you into outside of work?" and you tell them, "Oh, I love to do artwork." Oh yeah, really? What do you draw? I love to make comics. Oh, really? And then you show them your artwork. Oh, that's cool. You have a Instagram or anything, yeah, give them this and give them that. They're like, oh, I'll follow you. So yeah, it's great that people are like more accepting, because back then people really weren't like into that stuff, but now people are like, oh, let me check that out, because back then that was like a geek thing to do.
Yeah, totally. I mean that is one fortunate thing, with kind of what's that show? The one with the one that made nerds popular. I can't think of the word the name of it. Um, but the nerddom and geekdom has become like a thing that's at the very least more popular, and Comic Con is more than just comics, which
Hmm.
is good and bad. We don't have to debate that, but
Yeah.
um, there has been some good that's come to it, where there is more acceptance of things that would have cost you your lunch money, when I was a
Hmm.
kid. um, so we've got this Stinch Whackbacker has joined the Discord now, so maybe that
Welcome.
will create peer pressure, and definitely welcome. And I don't know if it's peer pressure, but that's a funny way to put it. It is. I mean, comics is kind of like a drug. So it's like, yes, if you just do one mini comic, you
Yeah.
all you have to do is one, and that'll get
Right.
you hooked. But let's see. And then we got a great, one of the many great members, Anna Raub, who hangs out in the audio channel a lot.
I love
And
that icon.
yeah, it's like, it looks like a dove or something. It's hard to see.
Almost like
It's small,
a
but
phoenix or something. That's
or
cool.
Phoenix, yeah, that's cool. The Discord has been a really good place for me. Yeah, I mean, I've been happy to have all you guys, and it's been great for me too. Another
Yeah.
one, Space Beat Surreal. I don't know how to say that last part, even though I know who you are and talk to you plenty. Hello. And then we got Mr. Mutt, who is, I don't think you've ever jumped in the Discord, but hey, glad to see you here, buddy. Um, you're definitely part of the comics community, whether you happen to be in the Discord or not. You don't have to be in the Discord to be part of my posse, yo. But it is fun in there as well. Let's see, what else do we got? Oh, let's see, some more from Mutt. He was on. If you don't remember, a couple with, I think it was last week or the week before, Mutt and his buddy Macho were on a video with me just recently, and they have their comic Hero, which is really cool. He says, "Me and Macho have loved meeting so many other creators. Everyone we know in our area think we're way out there." Yeah, well, isn't it the truth? And Shell put this in here. Where I lost it. I lost it. Oh, here we go. The Big Bang Theory. That's the one I was talking
Yes.
about. Yes, and again, it's like Comic Con, good and bad.
Hmm.
Let's see. See, this is what I like right here. The community of indie folks we've met have been eager to help us figure out what we're doing. Lots of helpful feedback. Like, in my experience, there's been a lot of crazy drama with comics.
Hmm.
Comicsgate, SJWs, all that craziness, politics, whatever it is. There's been all kinds of different things going on, and luckily, I've pretty much kept away from that for the most part. Um, but in my experience, the comic community has always been exactly what Mutt is describing here. Um, Pretty much 100%, except for this weird internet thing that has happened with Twitter and all that. Um, but other than that, I mean, even if you have totally different views, I mean, a lot of my best friends, in comics don't agree with my politics or religion, but they're cool with me, and they would do anything to help me figure out how to make my comic,
Hmm.
they're just really cool. So I don't really see what the problem is, but there's problems obviously.
Yeah.
Let's see. So there's been so much that has happened in this Discord that is really cool. As we've been saying, I'm just kind of going through some of the things we keep adding channels. There's a lot there, but people are active in most of these channels.
Oh yeah.
There's all kinds of resources for different things. Uh, we got like marketing resources, publishing resources, artist and
Hmm.
writer resources, and then we even have like for almost every genre, at least every one that I could think of, and every one that anybody's brought up, of comics, we have a place just for reading, where you can
Hmm.
chat about stuff you've been reading and things you really like. And we briefly mentioned it, but the 9 Volt Anthology is huge.
Yeah.
That's we're on the second one, and
Hmm.
I mean that's again, Evan and Peter heading that up. They're the ones who really um, are truly in charge of it. But it's become a thing that's very akin to AAA Discord, and it's, again, I'm very proud of people like Peter and Evan, who have taken the time to contribute to the
Oh
community
yeah.
in such a way that helps us to all get published. Like, not only,
Hmm.
are we making our own thing, but we're also finding ways to publish each other's stuff. That's pretty freaking cool, man.
Exactly. Staying dedicated. That's the thing. And even with the writing prompts, like you said, for people that are stumped and trying to learn how to like really further their process with their drawing styles, like they come up with like really great things daily, like, how to draw fire, draw like this thing, that thing. They come up with great ideas on a daily basis. I mean, they always come up with something new to think of. So, head in there and look it up, because they always have some type of new thing to draw.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, how often do you get into the situation
Hmm.
where it's like have you don't you're getting your sketchbook and you got a blank page in front of you and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do, and
Yeah.
anytime I'm in that situation, it's like,
Hmm.
oh, there's a drawing prompt. I can just go there. And not only, you don't even have to just do today's, you can do yesterday's or like the one that happened like 3 months ago, you know?
Yeah.
So
And
it's
who
pretty,
knows? Some of those drawing prompts, you draw enough of them, you could probably take some of those images and make a comic out of.
yeah, totally. Like I said, Peter even did almost like a tutorial of how to do a
Hmm.
comic, throughout, I think it was like a week or two. And, some people at the very least got like halfway done with their comic, or got a cool idea started that they didn't wouldn't have started to begin with. So it's just, there's so many things. There's also a critique section.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't necessarily, doesn't need to be like, let's promote the Discord all night. But I guess what we could do, and please, anybody else in the Discord, a lot of you guys are in the chat. Please join in on the live stream. I'd love to
Hmm.
hear some of your guys' thoughts about all these things. But let's get a little bit into Ronnie. You've been on the show many times
Hmm.
and told people, but what are you working on these days with your projects?
Well, I'm working on my 80s horror comic. And then besides that, I'm working on a comic about dystonia, which is involuntary movement disorder, which is a disorder that it has no cure, but there's treatments for. And sometimes you could treat it by medication, Botox, or stuff like that. And sadly, I have it. That's why you could kind of see the head twitching there. So, it's something that I'm dealing with, and different parts of me have it. So it sucks, but as an artist, the best way I could deal with it is trying to promote it through a comic book. So that's what I'm doing. So, and, I think that's the best way I could do it. And I'm just going to try to promote it on all my social media platforms, on YouTube, on Facebook. I have a Twitter now. So that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, that seems like something that would be really tough to deal with. And you really are taking that situation and at least doing something to turn lemons into lemonade type of thing.
mhm,
And the fact that you're doing something to be helpful too is really great. And anybody out there who is a a believer and things like that, in God, like
mhm,
I know that that Ronnie is happy to be on the receiving end of prayers. So feel free to
mhm.
do that. And I know my thoughts and prayers are always with you, man. With that, um, and so yeah, I mean, that's just really cool. Again, and again, it's a place where you can find that kind of support, and it's really nice to have that kind of safe place. And the fact that you're even coming on the show with with that as a
Yeah.
worry, is pretty cool.
And
So
and I mean, the thing is, maybe it is I mean, it's probably not a coincidence, but like Scotto Green, I don't know if you checked his Instagram, but he's actually doing a uh, Indiegogo because one of his friends actually has dystonia in her throat, and
Oh,
she
really?
can't actually talk because her vocal box is having muscle spasms and it's causing her not to work. So he's actually having a Indiegogo, I mean a, a fundraiser to try to raise money for her. So I mean that's a godsend that while I'm making this comic, all of a sudden that happened. So and unlike Parkinson's or uh, multiple sclerosis, this is one of those disorders that people really don't know about, because when you mention dystonia, they're like, what is that, like a country or something like that? So, it's one of those unwell known ones. So,
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. There's a lot of things out there like that. And,
yeah,
we already got some people here talking about they're going to pray for you. So that's awesome.
I appreciate that.
Um, and I was wondering what happened to Scott Green. I haven't heard much from him, but that's cool that he's doing something like that. He's one of those guys who's just such a giving dude, and
Hmm.
he's from the 100 Days of Making Comics, community and stuff, which is really cool. Um, Evan says that Ninja Jax was created completely from those prompts, the drawing prompts, which is awesome. I mean, I feel like I mean, you know what? I'm pretty sure Expando was created from those drawing prompts. I might be wrong. I'm trying to remember now. It's been a while, but I think Expando might have been created from those drawing prompts. But there's so many cool things, that, and I'm sure there's more comics that have been created from that too. So that's really cool. Um, Shell says many in the Discord have a good eye for what's helpful and share it with everyone. Since there's artists of all levels, you get some obscure but super helpful tips that could take years to figure out. I mean, that's so true, because the thing is, you know, I've heard so many stories of creators who have kind of reverse engineered their way into comics. Um, and, this is like, especially from the old school days, they would go and read a comic and they'd look at the credits and see, hey, there's an inker, there's a penciler, oh, there's a process to this thing. Whereas, if you ask anybody on the streets, or if you were to tell anybody on the streets, hey, I make comics, there a lot of times, there's been people who have said that the response would be, oh, people make those, like they just think they come out of thin air somehow,
Hmm.
whereas a lot of creators have had to, like I said, reverse engineer, just observe what they're reading and see, how could I make that. And I know
Hmm.
of people who have talked about, they didn't know that there was a such thing as doing inks, and they would just try to make their pencils really dark, and like a lot of people have done funny things to try to make a comic, and it actually ends up leading to an interesting kind of, maybe a possible new way to do things too.
Yeah.
But again, what Shell is saying, there's all kinds of little tricks and tips that sometimes might be even thought of as secrets of the trade, maybe in another era, where now if you just happen to ask a question, I mean, even today, somebody asked me a question about one of the guys, let's see, trying to remember what his title is, epithet soup. I was asking about freelance and stuff like that, and just how to get some work, doing some freelance stuff for comics, or all that. And Shell jumped in, and so did a bunch of some other people too, with some resources on, here's some advice, this is what I've learned. And I said some things too, but I kind of said, but it'd be better to get your information from some other people, especially like Shell, because she does it. Um, Whereas I've only done a few jobs, like, kind of freelance jobs in my life, and that's kind of what she does a lot of times. So anyways, like, there's just so many things where it's like,
Hmm.
people are willing to come up with some pretty, like, laser point specific advice sometimes, where it's like, a lot of times if you were to ask that generally on Facebook or Instagram or you or Twitter, you would might get like a generic answer like, well, draw more, or something, practice, whereas here you get some really good actual advice.
Yeah.
Looks like Macho Dan's hanging out. He's got
Yeah.
the
I'm
Macho.
gonna
Oh
I'm
yeah.
gonna share my page here. I mean, you guys already seen it in the Discord, but just to share what the Dystonia page looks like.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I can put a link if there's some kind of link or something.
It's just in my Krita page or the Krita artwork that I'm just doing.
Okay. Cool. Let's see. So, sorry, I actually don't have a link for you in this, but I'm gonna add this to the stream here. Here we go. That's pretty cool. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing here.
Yeah, so right here with the first page, basically the top left is the dystonia. Basically, that's what the hand does when it cramps up. And then with this one right here, is basically telling you the different details of like how dystonia affects different people. Oh, let me get up. So it could affect people in different ways. It could affect their face with like their jaw, making it where their mouth will make it hard for them to chew, or their tongue, since it's a muscle, make it spasm up where they can't talk that well with their tongue, or their vocal box, it'll make the vocal box start spazzing them up. Or if it affects their eyes will constantly move. So that will really suck. But if it happens in the neck will like twitch a lot, or it'll make the necks like get stuck, kind of like what it's doing to me right now. Or if it happens in the hands, like I said, it'll get cramped up in the hands. Or if it happens in like the torso, it'll like make your torso like kind of one of your shoulders slightly higher than the other, and it'll make one leg higher than the other. Just a lot of bad stuff that it'll do.
Yeah.
And kind of had a little illustration because it kind of feels like you're having a tug of war. So I kind of indicate here like there's no cure but ways to help fight against the monster of pain and sorrow. So I kind of indicate like it's like a monster tugging at your body. I'm gonna have it where there's ways to fight against it with
Uh-oh, did we lose his
therapy.
audio?
Oop.
There you are.
And then another way you could do it is deep brain stimulation, where it's kind of like the pacemaker for the brain. So yeah, that's what the first page is pretty much about. Going to be working on the second page pretty soon.
Wow, how many pages is it going to be? Looks like we got Anna here. How you doing?
Great.
Hey Anna, good to see your face.
This is the first time I've hopped into a YouTube live stream, so it's like.
No, you're good. I could hear you.
Yeah, it sounds great. First of all, Anna, let people know a little bit of who you are and what you do, and then let us know what your thoughts. What's it been like being in this Discord? Has it been horrible or has it been kind of cool?
It's been very cool.
Awesome.
I like to create art. Not all of it is drawing, but most of it is drawing. My goal is to become a full-time comic/graphic novelist. And yeah, the Discord has been a great place. I remember when it started, when you put your first video out that said that you had created a Discord channel or a Discord server. And I waited a little bit to go on, but then I ended up going on after like 2 weeks. And I was quiet for like the first, I don't know, until about Christmas, and then I was quiet again. And then I've sort of I don't know, I've sort of been coming out of my shell in the art world a little bit because of the Discord channel or server, I guess. So it's actually
Awesome.
been really helpful since I don't have a lot of artist friends around that I talk to.
Yeah. Well, I'm just really glad that it could be something like that for you. And I've told people before, like, I always kind of say it with when it comes to like YouTube videos and stuff, is like you don't have to start, even having your voice. You can literally start with like some music and a video of you drawing or something and just put it up there. Give it a shot, try it out. And then, maybe eventually you can think of, I want to talk about some stuff here, but you don't put your face on, but you just kind of talk about stuff over your drawing. And then eventually maybe you'll put your face up there. And it's the same thing. I mean, I think a lot of us as artists, in general, whether you make comics or whatever you make, I think a lot of us can be kind of timid. I know even myself. I'm a very timid person. If you knew me in real life, I'm the same person, but I'm like a lot quieter. Like I don't I don't butt into conversations. If it seems like there's no easy way in, you might not hear from me, but I'll feel like I had a big conversation even though the other person talked like the whole time.
I definitely get that.
so so yeah, it's been great, having you and having everybody who's been in the audio chat. I mean, though, whether people go in the audio chat or not, it's no big deal. But it's been cool for that being a place where people go, as well, because there's something, you can sit there and type away, at the general chat or the prompt chat, and that's cool, but there's something special too about the audio, and you could even share some video too if you want there. And I don't know, there's a different connection. You don't have to kind of wait for time to pass before you get a response and things. It's different. Um, and we have a lot of people who interact in that. So let's see. What are you working on now, Anna? You said, are you in? I can't remember. Are you in taking some classes and stuff for art or?
Yeah, actually, my last quarter for college before I graduate is going to be this fall, and I'm going to
Wow.
be taking one more art class. It's going to be a Design 3 class,
Hmm.
and so I'm going to be focusing on Adobe Illustrator. Last time it was Adobe Photoshop, and then before that it was all traditional art and compositions and stuff.
And how is so you're not going to school for art, or you are going to school for art?
I am. I'm majoring in art, but
Okay.
up with
And
art.
Awesome.
how's that been for you?
Well, I would say under most circumstances, um, I don't know. I think it's really good for me, but at the same time, it's one of those hindsight 2020. You look back and you're like, well, I had to do a lot of classes that I probably wasn't going to need, and I probably could have taught myself a lot of these things online. But I mean, hey, I got through the academic experience.
Do you think that do you think that there is something uh, more beneficial for being in a classroom as uh, that differs from kind of learning this stuff on your own online, or do you actually excel more doing this stuff online and figuring it out yourself?
It depends on what kind of person you are, really,
Well, I
because
mean for you specifically.
okay, so going in person, I think it's a little bit more of like a peer pressure push.
Hmm.
So I guess there's that. And you have the other people that'll look around and they'll be like, wow, that's cool or whatever. Can you help me? And so then you get a little bit of experience of going and helping your own classmates. Because on quite a few occasions, I would finish up my work before the other students around me. And they would want some help with like their perspective drawing or some value or whatever.
Hmm. Yeah, it is interesting. I've definitely taken some art classes. I've taken a lot in high school. We actually had a pretty good art program in high school. But then I also took some college classes and stuff. And it's weird because I feel like you automatically kind of fall into that kind of compare and despair situation, like by being in these art classes,
Mhm.
because I don't know how they do it at every art class, but for me, we would all, be working on our art and stuff and this and that. Most of the classes would be that. But then a lot of times there's days where, okay, let's put everything up on the wall and let's all talk about what we see. And
Yep.
you're like,
Uh,
well, right away I can see three that are way better than really everybody in this class, including me. And then, mine's somewhere, I don't know where it is, maybe in the middle or maybe even on the bottom. Like you could kind of already just at a glance see that. And then you get to hear everybody's thoughts about what you've made, you know.
yes.
So it can be fun.
I was
For your art major, you had to take art history,
yes.
where
Yes.
you just had to like learn about art. You didn't have to do any type of artwork.
Yep.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I remember doing that. Yeah.
My art history was actually an online course. So that was sort of nice, yet at the same time I took it during a quarter where all of my classes were online. I took the quarter before last quarter. I took
Hmm.
all online, and my teacher said my art professor. He said my condolences because he was like, "Oh man, that's going to be so hard keeping up with all the classes online." But I ended up doing them all online, and then this whole COVID thing came, and I ended up having to do all my classes again online. But I was already accustomed to it.
Hmm.
It's been weird. It feels more like I don't know, like I get just about as much from my art classes at this point. Of course, I did a ton of self study growing up, but at this point, going through college, the last quarter and all of that, I feel like I could learn this stuff online or cheaper, but I mean, we have it worked out right now, so it's okay.
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing that's kind of deterred me is, you know, just the cost. You know, I'm not a big fan of college as it is,
It
just
probably
because
costs a
of
lot
the
more.
cost, the debts.
Yeah, because I went to college back in the early 2000s. Like the last time I was in college was in 2005. So I can imagine how much it is now. So I can even imagine.
Yeah, it's a lot. Conveniently, we worked stuff out, and so I'm not going to be having any student debt when I graduate, which is nice. That was a big thing. It's like if I was going to have student debt, then I wouldn't even go to college at all. I'd just continue being self taught. But
Yeah, I finally paid off mine like probably 5 years ago.
mm-hmm.
Wow, you paid it off. That's more than
Yeah.
a lot of people can say.
Yeah.
Clay, also known as Van Illustration, says you can have some real valuable input from pro instructors. That was drastic for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Like to me, as much as I don't love the money aspect of college, I I actually I enjoy the class experience. Even in regular classes. I've never been great academically or
Mm-hmm.
in I'm lazy. I don't like to do homework and stuff. That's part of it. I'm a daydreamer. I don't know. If I'm not in a drawing class, it doesn't mean I'm not drawing. Things like that. But that being said, I do also love the teacher interaction with the students. I tend to really like a lot of my teachers, even if they're jerks. I can sometimes get something from them. Um, so I don't know. So I can totally get what Clay's saying. And then again, if you have like a really good instructor, I mean, obviously the better they are, the more they're willing to kind of have that back and forth interaction and really like kind of dig in with the students, the
Mhm.
better. So yeah, I don't know. I all I'm saying is, as much as there's cons, there's also pros. You know.
Well, if you don't
Right.
like math, you'll definitely wouldn't like it because back in college, I went for theater arts, not for arts. But unlike criminal justice, if you were trying to go for a theater arts major or for an arts degree, you needed the highest math level there is. So you needed like the highest college math level. And I was like, why? I was like, why didn't a criminal justice major needed a higher math than someone who was just trying to go for our art degree that I don't need any math whatsoever? I didn't understand that, but that's what they wanted. So,
Yeah.
Weird. I like the professor that I ended up with, though. I've had a couple of. Well, actually, I've had a lot of professors for each class, but I have a favorite professor that's in my drawing classes and design classes. And he's been very helpful. And I got the hunch that that's going to be a professor that I'm going to continue, like, after graduating and be like, hey, you got any advice on this?
Yeah. Well, that's cool that you could communicate with them after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's funny. This is kind of, it's related, but in high school, like I said, we had a good college program there, or high school art program there. And I took every art class I could possibly take, and
Mm-hmm.
I took some music classes too, even though I still don't know how to play an instrument. But you know, it was that's where I wanted to be. Anywhere that was creative is where I wanted to be.
mhm,
And so, anyways, but again, we always had like this art show, the high school art show. It's a
Mm-hmm.
big thing in our town. You know, every year, and I would go back the years after I graduated and stuff, and a lot of times I'd go back and my teachers, they'd be like, well, these guys really did good. They were a little more forthright, and they'd be like, you guys were a little bit lazy, but these guys were pretty good this year. I'm like, oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, you're right, I'm lazy. um, but yeah, I don't know, it's just kind of funny. But I mean, I learned so much like in high school art. Like I said, I took every art class. I didn't care if I was interested in it or not. Like I took jewelry, I took like pottery, I took anything creative I took, and I enjoyed it. And I think that's another thing that's really helpful actually. um, I don't know how much they force you to do different stuff that you wouldn't do in college, but for me that was huge, trying to work with like different mediums. Like I would have never worked with charcoal, or I would have never worked with like china marker, or again like sculpture, plaster of Paris, all this kind of different printmaking techniques. Like I did all that jewelry, I did all kinds of stuff that I never would have done, and I found out that I actually like some of them. I would love to make, a charcoal comic book. Like I haven't yet, but I would love to. I think it would be cool. Did you guys have kind of any experiences with trying mediums you wouldn't necessarily try?
Well, I had a sculpture class and we had to create like a final project, but we had to use a Barbie as the base. And
Oh,
so
really?
like
wow.
different tools, and we had a Dremel and we had like a little saw thing, and I chopped off like all the Barbie's limbs, and then I repainted them, and I made like this winged blue cyber soldier guy, and I'll have to go find it one of these days. And I took two other Barbie's faces, I cut them off, I painted them white, and then put like little polymer clay horn thingies and put them as shoulder pads with this white feather stuff. I don't know, it was fun and weird.
Did you ever get any teachers discouraging you from doing fantasy art and phoenixes and dragons and whatever it else?
Yeah, actually, not in college, but back in high school, I took all the art classes that they had, and then I actually like retook another class because I was like, "Can I please redo this again?" Not that I needed, and they're like, "No, you did like a perfect grade or whatever." But it wasn't like a hard class. It was just we sculpted things and we went through different mediums. But I always wanted to do fantasy things back then, like consistently. And the teacher was pretty regularly, they're like, Anna, you should be doing like some other, you gotta expand your horizons. Maybe draw like a human face, or maybe sculpt something else, like maybe a kitten or a rabbit. And I'm here doing this dragon
Yeah.
or a
That,
phoenix.
you see, that's the thing is like, and maybe they just can't do this with every student, but like, because you always hear this, especially with manga or people who are
Mhm.
into manga and stuff. Um, the criticism that will come from teachers, and I got it too. You know, I wanted to draw comics. That's the whole thing. That's why I was there. You know, but there was very little that kind of directly related to drawing comics. And you know, to me, I feel like I would be like, okay, you like to draw, you know, dragons and fantasy stuff. Well, check this out. Why don't we do a few let's go to the zoo, like obviously like where there's going to be a trip to the zoo, or you can go to the zoo yourself, or take some pictures from, you know, nature. Here's a couple National Geographics, and find every animal in there with scales, you know, and then draw all of those animals, and then try to draw a dragon after that and see if that would help you to draw your dragons better. Like there's so many things where you can teach somebody a lesson that will be kind of directly related to the thing they're actually inspired to draw, you know.
Absolutely.
And I wish they would do that. I've never heard an art teacher do that. I'm
Yeah,
sure
as
there are some, but
on my own note, as I was developing as an artist, I definitely did a whole lot of animal studies. And I think that's benefited me in other ways too, because it really kind of nurtured my interest in and understanding of science in general. And so it was able to enjoy a lot of my harder science classes throughout college too. So it's
yeah.
like, oh, I learned about this topic when I was studying art.
Yeah, I mean, it all can relate, and I felt the same way with like math too. Like I think math is amazing now as an adult. I realize that it's a pretty amazing thing. But as a kid, I had no interest whatsoever. But if they just told me a few of the things that you could do with math, and like, heck, related to art, some teach me the Fibonacci sequence. Like, come
Oh,
on, there's so many things. Like,
really?
do something to kind of get my interest, you know, even though I'm not into it. And I don't know, I think that would work and be helpful.
Yeah.
Um,
I had a lot of pieces that I used the Fibonacci sequence for in my compositions, and I'm looking in my big portfolios, and I mean like that size. Let's see if I can find it.
It's a big portfolio.
Yeah, I have two. One is smaller.
yeah, I got a couple like that too.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful.
Ah, I found it.
I did a video one time that showed a lot of my stuff from art school or art class.
I guess it's upside down.
That's really neat.
The Fibonacci sequence painting
That's awesome.
of a whole bunch of birds in sequence.
Did they teach you the Fibonacci sequence at all in art class?
Actually, I taught my professor about the Fibonacci sequence. One professor that was an art professor knew about it at college already and was teaching it to his Design 1 students, but I didn't take his Design 1 class. I took another professor's Design 1 class, and I was like, oh yeah, I want to use the Fibonacci sequence for this composition, and then she's just like, what's that?
Really?
The student teaching the teacher.
Yeah.
Wow. Frank, what's going on?
Frank.
Hey guys,
Hey.
I just got home.
Nice. Thanks for
What's
joining.
up?
We're talking about art school. Did you ever go to art school?
No, I went to well, I took art classes in high school, which we only had two. One was painting the ceramics. We had to order them from a catalog, and then paint them.
Oh, really?
So that was the beginner art course, and then the next year, that's when we were able to do actual art. I was never the best. I was always like the teacher would always like look at my stuff, and then she would look at my friend who was a really good artist. She's like, "Oh, that's nice. Wow, your stuff is great." But that's where I learned to do some inking. We did a coloring book for, I think, for the special ed class. So we each made our own coloring book, and we had to ink it with India ink. And so it was fun. I mean, I learned stuff, but I didn't really like, I don't know. I never really kept up with it until later on. I just started doing it more.
Gotcha. Well, that's cool that you had those experiences, though, man.
Mm-hmm.
Anna, it look like you were pulling a couple more out? Do you have more to show us?
Yeah, I have a bunch of other stuff, but I don't know.
Please do.
Cool.
Honestly, it was that student that the professors were always like, "Oh wow, that's so cool" or whatever.
Oh, wow.
But it's like I'm just here feeling awkward. I'm like, I'm not used to having the attention on me. This was kind of a fun. I guess it's upside down. It can be a dragon in one way, and it can be a phoenix. It's just paper. All of it's paper.
Very nice.
In the other way.
Wow.
It was black paper cut out and put on white paper.
Wow. That reminds me a lot of the designs from The Emperor's New Groove.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shapes and stuff.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And I guess I do have a couple of other things. These are just in my big portfolios. I don't have that much in my big portfolios, but it's a cyber vulture inspired by a bearded vulture.
That's so cool.
So tell us why you're really into the dragons and phoenix, because I could tell that you have the dragon and the phoenix in the background as well of the painting.
That I did. It's acrylic.
Like, is there a reason why you like that combination so much?
I just kind of grew up liking dragons, even though a lot of people thought it was weird. But like, I had a stuffed animal.
Who doesn't like dragons?
Right. And there's the bearded vulture, a study from the photo itself.
Art teachers. Wow. Art teachers are the dragon's biggest nemesis.
And we had to design a dream house in my design class, and everyone else used like an actual photo of a real house, and I'm just here like, no, there's gonna be a pterosaur in the sky, and there's gonna be
wow,
roof. And
beautiful.
Look at that. That's amazing.
Fish.
That's so cool.
Oh, nice. And that's your house?
Yep, that's my house, obviously.
Nice.
I mean, on the inside, I try to keep all the plants and everything to make it look jungle-y, but on the outside, it just looks like a house.
Nice.
Very cool.
That's pretty amazing, and I think that when people were creating art portfolios, they didn't realize they were going to be on the internet.
Oh, look at the sword. Yeah.
Yeah, also I like making props.
Yeah.
That was
you make props too. That's cool.
Drama and skits class is I created duct tape and cardboard armor and weapons for basically everybody.
Well, I'm going to give you props for making props.
Yeah.
That's really cool. All right, and we have a new member of the Discord coming in. Stinch Whackbacker. What's up?
Hi there.
Hello.
Stinch.
Hello.
Hey, Salazar. How are you doing?
Hey, I know Stinch.
Yeah, you know me and all of my escapades, but let's just not talk about that. Wrong stream, okay?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, man.
Oh, I'm a media student, and I've had a very long interest in comics. I'm sorry, it's 3 a.m. in the morning, and I'm only here just like to drop in and say hi and all that stuff before I leave. I feel sorry, Anna, that I interrupted you. Damn.
No, you didn't interrupt. I don't think.
No.
She was just showing a bonus prop.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Bonus round.
lifelong comics interest for anyone who's interested.
You made any comics yet?
Oh yeah, actually, I'm Marshall. I need to thank you. All right.
Cool.
I need to thank you so much because I was doing the deadline for a comic that I did for a contest that was going around in June, and I've been talking about that a lot of other places, but not here. So I think you streamed somewhere around like I think it was 1st of July. Yeah, correct. And I was just pulling through. It was like 5 a.m. and I was inking everywhere. It was flying all over the place, Just like ink left and right, up and down. It's like I drove the whole thing up the wall.
Nice.
So yeah, it was a 20 page haul, and I was sleep deprivated, and I made the shipping in time and everything. So yeah. I need to thank you for entertaining me and talking about a little bit deep with my comics. And
you're welcome. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. So wholesome.
Thank Marsh.
Oh yeah. Bless.
Well, I mean, like I said, this the Discord and the community is nothing if it's just me. It's not really much of a community. So I thank everybody else. I thank all of you, and I think it's really cool that you took the initiative and jumped into the Discord and even came onto the show, man. Again, we welcome you, and feel free to hang out. There's lots of fun things to do there, and hopefully you'll get some
aboard
support and stuff.
Yeah. I will make sure that I will use this. As often as I can, because there's a lot of communities that I've been around. There's been total wasteland because everyone is so focused on like concentrating on the work, but not necessarily communicate a lot. And I think that with the Discord server, you could not only create what I call peer pressure, but you could sort of get the best of the both worlds in regards to criticism and to share your work that is not necessarily with that toxic element of social media. And I think that a lot of people can relate to that in a lot of way due to I'll only use myself as an anecdote here. I'm not going to speak for everyone else. I'm really angsty about sharing art, and I don't really like it. But I think I found a sweet spot with you guys when it came to the server and coming to discussing here and everything. So it feels a little bit more intimate, but at the same time, the parasocial relationships and all that.
Yeah, totally. I mean, and in my opinion, that's what it is, and hopefully that's the something you find while you're here, and I think it'll be good. That's one thing I think that's interesting is it's like a go between social media and you as a person. And I think I've heard a few people say this so far, and I would agree is, I actually check the Discord before I go to other social media. There's just, that's where it's like Cheers. Like that's where all my friends are.
Yeah.
Correct.
Where everybody knows your name. I'm not gonna
absolutely.
Sing
It's me and popping a pint and everything was just like, oh man, I hate my art so bad. No, it will be fine. It will be fine. Come on, we can do it together. All together now.
Yeah, totally. We got another friend of the channel, Mr. Peter Palmiotti, saying hi.
Hey Peter. How you doing?
Hey Peter.
Keep an eye on his channel. I think I'm going to be on there possibly this week. And actually, who else? I actually got a lot of YouTube stuff going on this week. Him and who? Why can't I think? Oh, Jeremy Berlai, who I had on last week. I'm going to be on his channel. And then I think on Saturday, if all goes well, we're going to have the guy. I forget his name. This is bad, but I've only talked to him a very little bit, but the dude from Mary Boys, the comic Mary Boys,
Oh
he's
yeah.
gonna be on too, so that's gonna be fun. So yeah, a lot of YouTube activity this week.
Oh, cool.
So let's see what else. Yeah, I don't know. We've been on for about an hour here, so
I just
I
got
think.
here, so I don't know.
Oh yeah, so all right. So tell us what you're up to these days, Frank. I know you always got comic projects going on.
I got projects upon comic projects. I'm always working on on something, and that's a big thanks to the Discord, to you guys, and to guys like Scott Circlin, Corey Kerr. They're the ones that first got me into wanting to get a comic out. And then when I got into the Discord, it was like just in time for the 9-Volt anthology, so I got my first comic published through Discord. So right now I was working on a story for The Great Canuck, one of my characters, but I'm gonna hold off on that for a little bit because I just want to work on it more. But I am doing another short story, which I showed Anna all the thumbs, but I'm keeping that under my hat right now because I think you guys will like it when you see it there. And I always do something comic related on the side. I think last night I was doing a character design of one of my other characters, and so I'm always doing something.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's awesome.
I don't know if you know Jeff Lafferty, right, Marsh?
Oh, you know I
He's
know who
taking
he is.
a little break from his the art cast because he's moving. So me and Keith Harper, we're moderators there. We're gonna try and fill in that spot tomorrow night at least. We're gonna see how it goes. So I think we're gonna do it on my channel. We're gonna do like a kind of a replacement art cast and just see how that goes until Jeff comes back.
Oh wow.
So we're gonna call it. I can't believe it's not the art cast.
I like that. I can't believe it's not the art cast either. That's crazy. So yeah, that's that's awesome. Everybody go check that out then too, for sure. And then Space Beat says, yes, haha, I go to Discord before Instagram or anything else. See, I told you, I wasn't lying.
Yeah, you too.
And then we got an oldie but goodie. Not that he's old, but Abe Sapien. He's been around from the 100 Days of Making Comics clan, and he also was an early adopter of the Discord, saying I need to get back into Discord, running silent lately. That's okay. We're always happy to see people come back in, and sometimes they're gone, sometimes they come back in, no big deal. And yeah, I don't know.
Too.
What's that?
I see Abe everywhere I go also, so to me I see him all the time, so it's not
Yeah.
He'll pop in, I think, on Scott's, on Josh's, on Jeff's.
Yeah, he's in a lot of chats and stuff, and I mean, I've been following him since he did his first 100 Days of Making Comics, and I love his stuff. I'm looking forward to the day he publishes something cool, and I'll definitely be there to support that for sure. So props to you, Mr. Abe. You should come on sometime, man. You're always welcome. Let's see. Other than that, I think that's pretty good. Once again, we're celebrating the 1-year anniversary.
Whoa!
The Discord, and it's a little bit past due, but it's happened, and I'm excited, and I'm just really, like I said, I'm super proud of what the community has become. We're very inclusive to anybody. Sometimes there's been a couple disagreements here and there, but it doesn't matter. Like, we're open to whatever. There's freedom of speech where we're at, and we just like to be creative. We don't really get into the craziness. We just talk about comics. We talk about our lives and hang out. It's all good stuff for the most part. So really, really happy to have you guys on. thank you everybody who's been watching and being part of this. Let's go around the room real quick. Anna, where can people find you if
Well,
you want to be found?
if you want to be found. I do have an Instagram now that I'm going to be trying to update at least once a week, maybe once every other week. I do have a series of things to upload on it, so I have content, probably.
You should upload even your art stuff. Just say this is like one of my art projects, because that
Well,
stuff's really cool. You got good response here.
Yeah.
The Instagram is going to be like all art project stuff, probably
Nice.
like 90% art stuff, 10% creative stuff. I don't know.
I know you've got plenty to share. I've heard you have a few pieces of paper on your desk.
few. Then I have like reservoirs of just stacks of paper that are years worth of sketching.
Nice.
And
Awesome.
then I have an entire bag back there, like a backpack that has one comic story concept art compilation thing from like 3 years of working on it. And then I have another which bin type stuff over here, which has another project that I want to work on in the future.
So next year when it's the second anniversary and you've put it finally took you that whole year to put all that stuff up on your Instagram, we'll come back here and see how much you've grown with your social media.
And I do have a YouTube channel as well. It's just Anna Robb, and it has I think the same logo that you guys saw earlier while I was in the chat, but it's like a little rising phoenix kind of thing coming out of an egg, like a dream egg. It's Dream Hatchling Studio, but I haven't named it that. I gotta figure
So
out.
it was a phoenix.
Yeah. And let's see. I think I only have 2 videos uploaded, but I have a lot of speed draws that I've been working on lately. I just haven't uploaded them yet.
Oh wow. Well, I'm looking forward to checking that stuff out for sure. And then we have Mr. Ronnie Gunter. How you? Where can people find you, sir?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, all with Crimson Owl Comics. And this Saturday, usually it's on Friday, we have our show, Comics de la Morte, the show where we review horror comics. And this Saturday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we're doing our last review for Young and the Dead. And at 10 p.m., we're having Scott Serklin coming on where we're going to review him to talk about his comic. So come along and we're going to have some fun.
Awesome. I love the pitch. Stinch, is there anywhere online that you'd like to be found? If not, that's no big deal.
No, you can't find me anywhere. But now that my ears are out of the burrow, I might as well hop on the whole social media train and all that stuff. Create a person.
Awesome.
Not that you will see that any day, but I do want to see I want to pitch in anniversary anthology.
Yeah.
How does that sound?
Yeah, well, I mean, we are working on a second 9-volt anthology. An anniversary anthology sounds like a great idea. So I don't know. It's not a bad idea.
Then I pass the mic.
Cool. Mr. Frank Salazar Art Nation. Where can people find you?
Well, you can find me on YouTube and Instagram at Salazar Art Nation. I do have a Twitter, but I only use it just to share Ronnie's links and stuff like that. But I think it's Nation Salazar. And you can find me on Facebook. I'm usually in the Artcasters Facebook group. So I think you can just look up my name, Frank Salazar. It'll pop up. You'll see my Salazar Nation Comics logo.
Cool.
And I think that's about it. On tomorrow, check out my channel. I think it's gonna be 10 p.m. Central. Me and Keith Harper, we're gonna do the first. I can't believe it's not the Artcasters stream, and see how that goes. So check it out.
Awesome. And you guys know where to find me. DonkeyJawProjects.com, Marsh Comics on Twitter. I'm not even going to say TikTok because I haven't even been on there for a while. So that's about it. That's where you can find me in on the Discord. The Discord's a pretty cool place. If you didn't know, we have a Discord. There's a link in the description. Other than that, thank you everybody for watching and hanging out, and we will talk to you